Have you thought about switching to a cordless band file? Well, Milwaukee's got two to choose from. We've got the Milwaukee M12 fuel band files, and it's the model 2482 and the model 2483, which is the 3/8 by 13 inch band file and the 1/2 inch by 18 inch band file. Milwaukee has made sure to take advantage of the fact that now we're cordless and we can do different things with different features that maybe with air we can't do. So let's dive in, take a closer look at both of these, and then after that, obviously we're going to use them, and then we'll come back and talk about pricing, about warranty, and what we think. These are the Milwaukee M12 fuel band files. The 2482 is the 1/2 inch by 18 inch band file, and the 2483 is the 3/8 by 13 inch band file. And these just released recently, and I think we got our hands on them at SEMA for the first time. And they sent them to us, and so here we go. We're going to try these out. I'm going to see how well they work. Also have a couple of other questions we want to answer based off of other band files, especially in the cordless category that we've used in the past. And there's some critical things that really make this worthwhile, especially when you're looking at either body work or metal work, metal files, things like that. Really have to hit a couple of key things, and we're going to go over that here in one moment. So again, these are the M12 fuel band files, and one's 3/8 and one's 1/2 inch wide, and the 1/2 inch wide is going to be a longer 18 inch belt. Let's bring these out. I have had these out, by the way. And by the way, these are the Dash 20, so they'll be bare tool. And obviously that's the 1/2 inch wide. I thought they came with 3 belts, but apparently not. I'm going to throw 4.0 batteries on both of these. And it looks like we've got an 80 grit belt here, a 60 grit belt there. And we'll take a look at the belts we have on here in just one moment. Now, one of the cool things about these that we noticed at the show is the fact that they're able to rotate the head 360 degrees. And those aren't index locations, so they're not pre-stops, if you will. You can literally turn this anywhere you want to 360 degrees, and that goes for both of these tools. So whether the 2482 or the 2483, you can flip that lever, turn this wherever you need it for the best access, and lock it down, and that's where it's going to be. If I turn these tools around, you'll also see we have some different controls on the tool as well. So we have a speed 1 and a speed 2. So obviously one's slower and one's faster than the other. And we also have where we can change directions on the tool as well. So just hitting the mode button is going to cycle between 1 and 2. If I hold the mode button down, that's going to cycle between forward and reverse. So one single button to control that. I don't think that's too confusing. Sometimes when you have a single button controlling 3 or 4 different things, that's kind of a pain. But we only have basically one separate selection in each category. That's not hard to understand. Hold it down to switch for one of them and just push it and release to select between the speeds. So again, pretty easy to do so. That's really nice because sometimes you get in an area where you can only get upside down and sideways, and to be able to change that direction, it will help out many times. So anyway, that's really cool that on either one of these tools you can switch speeds as well as be able to switch directions and have that indexing, not really indexing, but being able to rotate that head 360 degrees. Now here's a really cool thing. Number one, easy to access these belts. So thumb screw right here, no tools needed. Loosen that a little, the cover flies open, and then all I have to do is basically pull this in. So you'll see here when it compresses, and it will actually lock into place. So now that's locked in, I can take this belt off, and then when I want to put the belt back on, so I can put my new belt on, and then just push this, it extends out, and now that belt's nice and tight. And again, I can index that wherever I want to. Now let's push that back in, lock it into place, take the belt off, and then we'll notice something here. This will slide right off. So if the belt's off, the clamp is open, this will slide off. Now let me show you something else. So this is the 2482 or 3. I think this is 2483 is the smaller one. Anyway, This is the 13 inch. Here is the 18 inch. So again, let's get this belt off. I'll push that in, lock that, get that belt off, and now flip this lever, take this off, put that over here, lock it down. So either one of these tools will run both of these heads. So arguably, if they sold the heads, you could buy one unit and basically just have two heads and be able to swap those out if you want to. So thought that was pretty cool that there's no difference in these two tools so that you can change out the heads. Now, I believe they still both, run the same RPM. We'll check that here in a moment. So that's not going to change anything. Obviously, just select your speed and you're good. And just like on the shorter one, push this in and that's going to lock into place. There you go. And now I can put that band on there, which let's take a look. Oh, great. So there's no marking on here at all. That looks like it may be the same grit. So apparently they're probably both 80 grit or both 60 grit belts on this case. Maybe 160, 180, but there's zero marking on here. They probably cut this out of a large belt, and this is just an area where it doesn't have the writing on it. Anyway, I'm going to put that on, and you have to have it all the way back there in the groove, and then it will fit on the front roller. And then again, you just push this right here, and you'll see this extend, and the belt get tight. There we go. So pre-tensioned. Flip this up, clamp that down, and now you're ready to go. So pretty cool that these heads will change out. Man, the same thing on this guy as well. No marking on the second one. Again, looks like 60 grit on that as well. So it looks like probably both of these have 60 grit belts. I'll put the new ones on both here. Again, get it back here in the groove, and then it will slip on the roller, and now I can just push this, tightens the belt, and we're ready to go. So very easy to change out belts. And let's talk about belts while we're here. Something that's really important in the industry, at least the metalworking / automotive industry when looking at band files, when it comes to grinding on metal, people are going to have their favorites when it comes to belts. There are some cordless companies that have some band files that have a very proprietary size, therefore you have to buy their bands and they don't work so great on metal. Might work fine on wood, but if you're into metalworking and automotive, then you're working on metal. Anyway, these are standard sizes. So both of these, you can buy 3M Cubitron, you can buy Norton. So those are big names in the metalworking industry and automotive industry that people believe in those brands, and they're going to go to their welding supply house or their automotive supply house or wherever they buy their industrial stuff, and they'll be able to buy the 1/2 inch by 18 or the 3/8 by 13 inch in Norton or 3M or even Empire abrasives, things like that. These are common sizes, and so you can buy the different belts, even getting into Scotch-Brite and things like that, where you can get into polishing. That's a very important thing. So I would love to see that in these, that Milwaukee didn't come out with some proprietary size, locking someone into buying only their belts. Another cool feature here is we get a LED light, so shine in the area if we're grinding in that area. If we've got it in a funky location, that light's not going to help us much. But again, it's there if we can use it. Safety trigger, so obviously got to flip that forward before you can pull it. If you just try to pull the trigger, it's not going to engage. All right, so one of the main things a band file is used for, especially in automotive, would be in body work, and that would be removing spot welds so that body panels can be removed and new door skins put on, new fender skins, new quarter panel skins, things like that. And I've got a fender here. I think it's off an old Z28 or maybe even a Trans Am. Anyway, we're going to hit some of these spot welds. So all along the fender rail here, this is where the hood would be closing. But anyway, I've got some areas marked there where there are spot welds. And we'll go ahead and grind those out, see how well, number one, the belt's going to do. Number two, is the tool powerful enough? And we'll use the, we'll start with the 3/8 here, and we'll just see, does it have the guts to actually do what we need it to do? Okay, we'll get this in a comfortable spot. That seems to be about right. I'm going to start in 1, and then we'll switch to 2. Okay, it looks like we're through that one. I'm going to turn this up into 2. I believe we're almost through that one. Yeah, I believe we're through that one as well. I'm going to get this top edge. Yeah, we're through that one as well. All right. Yep. So now we got all 3 of those. So definitely not an issue with the power, and the belt seems to be lasting decent as well. And looks like I got that one broken free too. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like I could easily get 10 spot welds out of a belt. If I was careful, I could probably get a lot more. But definitely the power to cut through these, no problem at all. And then in addition to spot welds, obviously there's just general use. Whether you're sanding in between banisters on wood, or in between, columns, or, different places where you need kind of a tight reach, or you have a tight reach, or things like this when you're cutting metal tubing, and you always have those sharp metal shards inside that tubing. Well, I can get in there with this band file and clean that up rather quickly. Even in bigger stuff, or if I needed to grind that seam out of there. Now that seam's gone, and it's nice and flat in there. So obviously the ability to get into places where your grinder or a regular sanding pad, 6-inch sander, is not going to get. And I can do that even into the corners of, say, angle. Whether I'm beveling out a weld or actually just getting in the corner. So a lot of uses for band files. As for grinding out spot welds, this thing does absolutely fine. The 3/8 and the 1/2 inch. Obviously the 1/2 inch is going to cut a bigger head or a bigger spot. So in those larger spot weld areas, you may want to use the 1/2 inch. But when you're trying to keep a little bit cleaner, then obviously the 3/8 is going to be the better choice for you. Now, as far as the belt's concerned, you know, it lasted, I don't know, what did we say, 10 spot welds? So, you know, if that seems kind of down for you, well, you can change to whatever belt you want to. As I mentioned, 3M Cubitron, Norton, Empire, all of them make belts for this. This is a common size, the 3/8 by 13 and the 1/2 inch by 18. That was something we didn't like about another cordless model of a band file, was that it was more of a proprietary size and you couldn't get the common companies that make metalworking sanding belts to work with their unit. So we love the fact that Milwaukee came out with something that's kind of standardized, so you can get the belts that you want, as well as even getting into Scotch-Brite, where you'll be polishing things, and whether it be polishing welds or kind of polishing the bends in metal or stainless steel or whatever it may be, you can still do so. Hey, so check these out. They should be hitting the shelves. Look for sometime late February is when kind of the expected ship date is. Price on these, they're a little bit stout. They're about 250 bucks a piece, but if you've ever priced a high-end pneumatic belt sander, finger belt sander, or band file, whatever you call these, it's up there as well. So they're not out of reach by any means. And we love the fact that these heads will change and you can easily take them off, and that you can easily basically put this in any location that you want to, clamp it down, and you're good to go. So love these things. We'll find more and more uses for them, but they work great. So check out the 2482, the 2483 M12 fuel band files from Milwaukee. Also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. If you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? And by all means, if you hated our video, then give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day, keep smiling, and by all means, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.